Welcome back to Studio South Africa. I'm Nicky Nash as always, and today, guys, join me inside the Ford Ranger Wildtrak X. And I'm gonna tell you everything you need to know about this vehicle, from the differences of this vehicle to the other Wildtrak. So from the external look of the vehicle, interior look of the vehicle, and I'm gonna give my overall thoughts on the car and the total cost of ownership for this vehicle. So speaking about the external look of the vehicle, there's obviously differences that you will notice from this car, but from a distance it looks like a normal Ranger Wildtrak, but up close that's when you get to see that this is a different type of Wildtrak. So up front you get these lovely beautiful matrix LED headlamps which work wonders at night. They do the most at night. You can see quite perfectly, and they are quite good. And I'm actually surprised that this car comes with matrix LEDs, whereas the Everest Platinum, the one that you're seeing currently now, doesn't come with matrix LED headlamps. So it's a bit weird from Ford. And that one that you guys are seeing now, the Everest, that's Sibua. He currently has that on test. Link in the description box below. Go to his channel, watch his review, support local YouTube since it's the right thing to do, as Mr. How much would say. Moving back to the Ford Ranger Wildtrak X. The other differences on the exterior of the side profile, you can see that this car is slightly higher than a normal Wildtrak, and reason being is because this car is fitted with the Bellstein suspension, which is meant for off-roading and all that. We'll speak up more about that in terms of when I speak about the driving impressions of the vehicle. Then you get these all-terrain tires and these lovely different set of 17-inch alloy wheels, and those are the wheels that this car comes with. You can't get 20 inches or anything like that on this one. And because this car is off-road focused, so obviously you don't want any type of high bigger wheels and low profile tires, because it's going to hurt your car when you're off-roading. Moving on to the rear, this is where you see the main difference of this vehicle and the party piece of this vehicle, and it has to be, as Mr. How much would call it, a spoiler. And a lot of people do call this thing a spoiler, but the correct term is a flexible sports bar, basically, or flexible rack. What that means is that this thing can move back and forth. And as you can see it in this car, in this kind of over the overplay videos, you can see that it's all the way back. And reason why I put it all the way back is that other Ranger drivers can see that this is not just a normal Wildtrak, so that they can ask themselves, which one is this? And it makes it a bit more interesting since it is the party piece of this vehicle, and that is the major difference from the exterior look of the vehicle. Jumping into the interior of the vehicle, there's literally no difference from this car and the other Rangers. The only thing that you will notice when you're sitting in the interior that this is a Wildtrak X is the lettering on the seats that say Wildtrak X, and the lettering on the dashboard on the side of the passenger, in front of the passenger, where it says Wildtrak X. Other than that, the interior looks like any other Ford. You get a digital instrument cluster, a touchscreen infotainment, TV screen. I won't even say, yeah, it's a TV screen. So in terms of the interior, it looks the same, and that's not a bad thing, because I do like the interior of this vehicle. Now moving on to the important part, the drive of the vehicle. Does it drive different compared to the other Wildtraks? And it's not a notable difference that I can say that it drives different, but you can tell that it's slightly harsher on road imperfection and bumps, and I think that's because of the off-road suspension it has. It's slightly harsher, and I would like to believe that the other Rangers are slightly smoother, but maybe I'm feeling things, but that's what I can gauge from my time with this vehicle. And so engine capacity and the kilowatts and the newton meters of this car comes in a 2-liter turbo diesel, producing 154 kilowatts and 500 newton meters of torque. That's the only engine on offer for the Wildtrak X. You can't get the V6 diesel that we all know and love. So personally, if you haven't driven the V6 diesel, you will not have a problem with this, or you won't mind this 2-liter found in the Wildtrak X. So I understand why Ford only has this one, and I'll speak more about why I think they have this one. The problem comes when you've experienced the V6 diesel. That's when you're gonna be like, okay, I wish I had the V6 diesel because of how much more power it has, how much more grunt it has. So for pulling power, the V6 diesel 100%, it'll give you that, because it just has more grunt, it's much faster, and it just goes through the numbers when you're accelerating, and it sounds much better as well. It has this sound. I can't mimic the sound, but if you've been in that V6 diesel, you'll understand. Going back to this one, why I understand, because this 2-liter biturbo is perfect. This is a perfect engine. It gets the job done. For towing, for pulling, for anything, those cars perfect. For off-roading, it's perfect. For daily use, it's perfect. You have enough power. So I haven't driven the V6 diesel in a while. I think it's been more than 6 months since I drove that car, that V6 diesel. And because I've missed it, and how can I put it? Because I've missed it and it's been a while since I drove it, and I'm in this one. This is perfect power. And I had the super cab as a long term in December, and I loved the power there because I found that in a bakkie, that's enough power. You don't need all the insane power. And I say it insane power because the Raptor has insane power, and I feel like you can't put that engine that the Raptor has in this or the V6 the V6 diesel would have been good to have it here, but the fact that you don't is not a train smash. You can get away with not having that here because this car offers so much. The drive of the vehicle is fine. Even when you put your foot down like now, it picks up and it's enough power. Like this is, and it goes through the gears. It's enough power. There's not a point in time where I've had this car and I said I wish it had more power, so I feel like someone that wants the V6 diesel, you're just being a bit greedy. You just want that to say that you drive a V6. But that's my thoughts on why this is enough for the daily drive and for the off-roading. Because when you're off-roading, you just need the torque, and this car has the torque. 500 newton meters is a lot of torque. So now, speaking about the car as a whole and why I think this might just be the perfect Wildtrak for you, or Wildtrak X for you, or the perfect Ranger for you, is because this car looks good. And it comes with these lovely, beautiful matrix LED headlamps that I love so much. This car is perfect. It's like the perfect missing piece in a puzzle. It looks good. It has all the tricks. So when I say all the tricks, I mean in the terms of the driving. When you're off-roading, because this is off-road focused vehicle. It comes with trail assist. Click the link in the description box below or the pop-up banner to go to my launch video to see what I mean by trail assist. But you should be seeing an overplay video of what trail assist is. So what a trail assist is, it basically locks. It's either your right rear tire or your left rear tire to make your turning circle much tighter when off-roading, and I like that feature. It's a very nice feature. The other thing, it has something called trail control. What is trail control? Trail control is basically cruise control for when you're off-roading. So when you're off-roading, from any speed under 32 kilometers, you can put it on 20, and then the car will accelerate and decelerate for you when you're off-roading, so that you can focus on steering and managing the course if you're doing an off-road course or any other road imperfections that you're doing when you're off-roading. So it's a good feature. I like it, and that feature is only found in the Raptor. All right. So when I say this is the perfect Ranger for you, is because if you don't want the Wildtrak, for example, you don't want the rowdiness of the 3-liter V6 making the noise, but you want something subtle in terms of it's subtle compared to the Raptor, then this is perfect because you get a Wildtrak in a Raptor. Oh, you get a Raptor. Yes, you get a Raptor in a Wildtrak. Yes, that's the correct way to put it. So it gives you everything a Raptor has, except for the engine, obviously. But in terms of off-roading, I think this is quite good. It will be as capable as a Raptor. Obviously, maybe a Raptor is a bit bigger. Ground clearance will be a bit better. But this is a perfect substitute for a Raptor, and hence I call it a mini Raptor. So that's why I think this might just be the perfect Ranger for you. And speaking about perfect Ranger for you, what is the price of this vehicle? Those cars priced at 1,013,000 rand, and the only option that I saw on the Ford website that you can add is a roller shutter, and that goes for 25,000 rand. Why is that an option? Because let me use myself for an example. If I want to buy a Ford Ranger for off-roading and all that stuff, right, I buy it and I want to put a canopy. I can't put a canopy on top of a roller shutter. It doesn't make sense. So if I know I'm going to put a canopy when I buy the vehicle, rather that not be an option, you understand? So that's why it's an optional extra. The only thing that I'm not a fan of is the fact that it's an optional extra that I have to pay for. I feel like the roller shutter should have been free. Like it's like an option you take for free. You understand what I mean? So I feel like it should have been part of the price. Make the car X amount of money and then give the buyer an option of not wanting a roller shutter or wanting a roller shutter for free. Don't make it 25,000 rand. Because if you add the 25,000 rand, the price of this vehicle comes to 1,038,000 rand. And if you finance that over a period of 5 years at an interest rate of 12.25%, you are looking at paying, wait for it, 22,800 rand without insurance and without how much you're going to be spending on a monthly basis in terms of fuel. So if you add all those things up, you can easily go up to 27,000 rand. It is a lot of money, but I'll leave that to you if you would buy it. But I know you guys would buy it because you guys have money. We are the ones that don't have money. You guys have money. That's why we see so many Ford Rangers on the road. And if you do own a Ford Ranger, actually, please, if you do own a Ford Ranger, please comment down below, say I own a Ford Ranger, so we can see which is keeper. You understand? But I'm Nicky Nash as always, and I've told you every single thing you need to know about the Wildtrak X. If I haven't covered something that you'd like to know, please comment down below, because I do tend to forget certain things. But yeah, I'm Nicky Nash from South Africa, and thank you for watching the Wildtrak, the Ford Ranger Wildtrak X review. It's a very long name, and I'll see you on the next one. And yeah.